Hey guys, I'm Johnny and welcome to another Johnny's Drive-In, and today we're going to be taking a look at the early 90s toy line King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. All right, folks, so here we have the entire collection of the short-lived King Arthur and the Knights of Justice toy line from Mattel. Now, that is the Motu Masters of the Universe slime pit that you are seeing there. So I'm guessing since Mattel likes to reuse old molds and old parts, that they just basically use that for King Arthur. So the way I took it, so I like to get a little creative and stuff with how I explain the reuses, that King Arthur, the era of King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, does take place in the similar universe to He-Man. And maybe the events took place sometime way after or way before Eternia and He-Man and Skeletor and everything. So I'll get back to that later. But this is an overview of the entire collection here. There's not many figures or creatures or anything or play sets. This is really it. The cartoon series only lasted 2 seasons, and I was able to rewatch all of them. When I was a kid, it would come on Sunday mornings very early, and it was part of Amazing Adventures, which was a cartoon block, and I think that was Bobot Entertainment. It was very short lived, just 2 seasons. And the opening of the story goes that Merlin is threatened by Lord Viper and the witch or Queen Morgana. And so this is Lord Viper. He is the main baddie. And so the story goes he's threatening Merlin and King Arthur and Camelot. And so the bad guys actually capture King Arthur and his knights. So Merlin has no choice but go to an alternate universe in the future to find the descendants or the ascendants of King Arthur. So they find alternate versions of King Arthur, which is Arthur King, and his Knights of the Round Table are actually his fellow football players in that universe. So Merlin takes them all back in time to replace King Arthur and the Knights of Justice until the original King Arthur and his knights could be free. So they just sort of kind of give up life in their current reality, go back in time, and just kind of assume the identities of all the knights and King Arthur and stuff. It's actually kind of a smart storyline. That idea, I don't know, maybe I might be wrong, but I don't really see that idea a whole lot. Going back in time and taking place of your ancient ancestor. I mean, maybe it's been done before. Maybe you guys can help me out with any kind of movie plots or cartoon plots that may also take advantage of that idea. But I was a fan of that show. And I remember not watching very many episodes before it just disappeared, and so it got canceled after 2 seasons. And then the toy line I had no idea even existed. I just remember waking up early in the morning and watching a few episodes. The opening theme was done by Shuki Levy, which he did a lot of the music, basically of the 80s, 90s kids' childhood. He did Inspector Gadget. He did Kid Video, The New Adventures of He-Man, Masters of the Universe, She-Ra, just so many. He's basically the sound of our childhood. And he also did King Arthur, and he did it rather amazingly. If you have a chance to look up the opening theme on YouTube or watch the 2 seasons are on YouTube. I don't know if they're still on, but that's how I was able to go back and watch them. This is Lord Viper. He's the main baddie. He's the Skeletor, if you will, or the Hordak, the evil dude. He is complete. So this is what he looks like. His Viper helmet, which is a little dusty. Forgive me, I have to dust him. So he's also got these really nice detail on his cape and his shoulder pads here. And you got these awesome looking medieval spikes here. Big fan of this figure. He's this really menacing looking snake helmet. And this is his snake-handled sword. And it's a little gritty on the edge here, but you can expect that in a over 20 years old figure. And he's standing in a kind of weird way because I try to stand him up with his feet flat, and he just keeps falling over. Now sometimes I'm successful, and I'm able to stand him up right, but today was not one of those days. So he wasn't having it. So today he's going to be skipping here in order to stand up. So the detail in his costume are pretty cool. It's a viper. Is it like a skull? No, it's just sort of like a viper looking costume, and it's got some like nice detail here to his costume, and then got the boots and the legs here. Really nice detail, that knight vibe. And I think that this part was kind of this theme here of the pointy toes and the armor on the legs. It goes on throughout all the figures here, and I guess they just reuse that same mold and slightly altered them, maybe, I don't know. So here's Viper without his helmet, and look, he's already wanting to fall down. So stay. Anyway, there's his face. So this line it's interesting because they have the helmets and then the reveal for the faces, which He-Man didn't really have that. So I think I find that rather interesting. The face kind of looks like a Dick Tracy Playmates kind of thing. He is less menacing when he doesn't have his helmet on. He just kind of looks funny. But I think it's kind of a cool feature. And look, he can have it so his eyes are looking directly through the helmet. It's a little more realistic. So behind, this guy's going to fall down. So I'm just going to turn him around. So behind here, we got some detail on the back of his helmet there. Check that out. Pretty cool. And then his cape is actually supposed to be scaly, and it's supposed to have that rough texture detail. But also, it looks like it's kind of like pieces of the fabric are coming apart after so long. So it's a cross between having a scaly pattern and then just being old and having like little pieces falling off. But it works. It still works. The cape is still intact. There he goes. It's hard to stand this guy up today. So let's see if we can do it. So as you can see, he just won't. Awesome. We got him. So now he's behaving, and he is standing up 2 feet flat on the ground, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's Lord Viper. All right, we'll just go to the slime pit. So this is from Motu. This is from He-Man. Let me move the other figures out of the way for a sec. And this is also one of the bad guys, so we'll put him aside. Let's look at this slime pit here. So it's got Hordak's face on it from He-Man. They just basically, they didn't even care to change the face. But in the cartoon, it does appear in one of the episodes in the cartoon. And it does have the dinosaur skull on the top, just like the toy here. But the face is actually of a sort of like a 2-horned witch gargoyle looking thing. And it's not Hordak, but this in the toy, he is actually Hordak. So Mattel is just like, let's just rebox it. But they didn't even rebox it, I don't think. I think it only made it to the back of the cards and the back of the other boxes. But I don't think it got its own box. And I do believe it popped up in a toy catalog. You might be able to find that on eBay. But the slime pit did make it to the toy catalog as coming soon. Of course, it was never released. I think everything was canceled right before that was about to happen. So it never got its own box art or anything. But I can imagine that it probably would have like Sir Darren, much like the cartoon episode, Sir Darren is getting slimed. So he'd probably be in the slime pit. And we probably have this henchman here. There he goes, falling on the floor. We probably have this henchman right here, like pulling the slime vat onto him. Which brings us to our next figure here. So I'm already forgetting their name, but I have a box here from the Boulder Basher. So look, he has issues standing up too. It's because the way these feet. Just take a look at these feet here. They're definitely not Motu, but they have that pointy shoe, for the knights and stuff, the armor. So it makes them very hard to stand up. All right, so I managed to stand them up again, and I think I found the secret. So the closer the legs are to each other, you grab them and then you kind of like pinch them close to each other, and they actually stand up perfectly fine. So there's sort of like a hack or a style to stand them, and they stand up perfectly after that. It took me a while to remember that or to figure that out. But so right here we got Warlord Slasher, and he is sort of the minion to Lord Viper and Queen Morgana, and these are actually the only two bad guys ever created for the series of action figures. You can see his eyes peering through his helmet. So they all have the reveal from the helmet and stuff. And he's got the pointy shoes again, just like Lord Viper here. So let's see, did they reuse the same exact mold? So here is Lord Viper's feet. Here's Warlord Slasher's feet. I think they're slightly different. He's got some spikes on his knees and stuff, but the feet, they look so similar, but they look slightly retooled to be unique. So he comes with the helmet, and his face reveals to look like this Freddy Krueger looking dude. He's got like wrinkles and welts on his face, much like Lord Viper does. And they look like Dick Tracy villains. I think it's a really cool figure though, and it's a lot of texture. There's a lot of detail to the suit and his weapons here. So he's got a pair of these sort of like, I don't know, like, were they like daggers or something? Like some like warrior daggers. And he's got this sort of, it's a cape. It's supposed to be a cape, because if you see the show, he is wearing a cape. And the cape actually helps him fly like a bat. But the figure kind of made it really strange. So it kind of looks like a cape, and then when you pick it up, it's like attached to two spikes that are on the top of his head, and it's just so bizarre and weird. But I still like it, but it's just sort of like, whoa, who thought this up? Very interesting. But I still like it. It's got some texture and stuff, and a good pattern on the cape. So the cape is also be like sort of like a sharp cape in the cartoon. He uses it sort of as like a cape weapon, sort of. So it's supposed to be sharp, and then we'll look at his back here. It's got a lot of texture. It's a good pattern, just good design on a lot of detail. The toy just doesn't stop. It just goes all the way around, and it has this constant pattern. Makes it more realistic, believable sort of figure. And his helmet or mask sort of breaks apart like Jason Voorhees. And there's a lot of cool detail on his helmet too. You see some scratches, some battle dents and scratches. That those didn't come with the age. Those are actually very deliberate marks for the action figure. He does kind of look like a Jason type warrior. I think he makes a great addition to the series. It's just a shame that they didn't make any more, because there were so many bad guys. They were all warlords, so it's a shame they didn't do any more. Okay, so now we have one of the good guys, Sir Darren. It's actually a really cool figure, but they kind of reused the same idea they did with Warlord Slasher, when they have the weapons or the accessories actually connected and latched onto the figures. So Sir Darren, one of the Knights of the Round Table and the Knights of Justice, he has sort of like this bow and arrow thing, and I don't know if this is how he's supposed to stand, or if he stands with it like erected upward. But this is like a bow and arrow that moves, and you see he's about to fall if I leave it like that. But I bet you with a little bit of I don't know, if I really try, I could probably get him to stand up right with the bow and arrow facing upward. So these arrows are supposed to spring into the mechanism and then pop out. So it came with two. He's complete here. He came with two of the sort of blaster arrows. So he came with two of these guys. And he has a face reveal just like all the other ones. So this is what his knight face looks like. And I think he looks cool with his knight helmet on. You can kind of see his face obscured through the helmet a little bit. And then, let's see, when you reveal it, you can see his actual face. How close can we get? There you go. That's a good. So he's got a very detailed looking face. He's got a good design here on his chest. I like the color of black and orange is a good combo. He's the good detail on his bow mechanism, spring mechanism, and it's got a very similar texture to all the other King Arthur figures, except it's orange, an orange design, and in the back. He's got some good detail, but it looks kind of like he's just wearing pajamas back here, but it's the same thing. It's the pointy feet. So they all have the same pointy feet and the same texture, like a chainmail sort of thing. So if I could try to, so I just squeeze his legs close to each other. And maybe thing is, you want his body pointing upward. So he wants to fall forward because he's got this there you go, with a little bit of magic from Merlin himself, we can make him stand. So here he is standing. I just squeezed the legs together and balanced the bow mechanism in just the right way for just the right amount of balance here to even it out. Now I think once his weapon is pointing upward, then he'll probably fall over again, because then this is actually pretty heavy. It'll probably take down the whole figure. So maybe that's the fault in this design. And then if you wanted to play with him with the other guys and they're like running around, it's kind of hard to believe that he's like constantly running with this thing attached to him. It would have been better if it was just able to come off whenever needed. But as you can see here, it's connected to the figure rather permanently. There's no way to take it off. And if you look at it from under, it's just connected all the way through. So let's put in the test. Let's see if we can... and here you see him falling over. So maybe if we do this. Ooh. It's just not meant to do that. It's really not meant to... the whole weight of unless maybe you point him up like this, he might be able to stand. And the squeezing of the legs doesn't really help, because just the sheer weight of his weapon, it just wants to, it's trying to drag him to the ground forward. But if you spread apart his legs, I wonder. Okay, yeah. So he's basically he has to do this like sort of like running, kind of wonky pose, and we got him to actually stand with his weapon pointing upward. So it is possible, and it's sort of an action pose here. But I still need to put the weapon on the actual thing. So let me do that real quick. So I got it. So I got his projectile to be in the weapon here, but I think there's like a little piece of the weapon either I'm not doing it right or there's a little piece of weapon that's broken off, but it's not connecting because there's a spring in there. There's a spring mechanism that when connected to a certain point of the projectile, the spring shoots it forward. So it actually has a spring action, which I think this figure is so old because I bought it complete, and but I'm thinking these weapons here, see the bottom, how it's kind of clipped there. I'm thinking it's supposed to be a little longer so it could actually fit into the spring and the spring will shoot it forward. But this is how he looks. You could still pose him for a lot of good action shots. And it actually looks pretty badass here with the knight helmet. You can get a good, nice toy photography shot right here. It's a good hero shot. So very good for photography and collecting and stuff. It's just as a kid, if you're like, he wants to be running around with all that stuff, you know, back in the 90s when we were kids and stuff. And he's like trying to run around with all the good guys. He has all this luggage here to carry. But otherwise, a great figure. So let's put him to the side here. Who else are we going to look at? So, we got the hero of the story, King Arthur, and Valor, the warhorse. So he's sort of like the battle cat to King Arthur's, sort of like King Arthur's battle cat. Sort of like battle cat to He-Man. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. So he's very busy figure. Both of them are very busy, so they have a lot of things on them. King Arthur has like this huge cloth red cape, which has stood the test of time all these years, and it's still in perfect shape. And then we have Valor has the breakaway helmet. He's got a missile launcher. He's got a shield. He's got a dragon shield for the dragon of the shield. I believe that's what he's called. And over here, he's got room for. This is just an extra lance that I had, and this is the same as this lance here, this sort of missile lance. So I just had two of them from eBay because I bought these guys in lots and stuff. So I ended up getting two, so he fits perfectly right here. Otherwise, he is complete because nothing is supposed to clip on here. It's supposed to be like a free clip, I think. And these little sort of like torpedoes are part of the horse. So, but this stuff right here was hard to get. Was the shield, the lance, and the launcher, and the helmet were not easy to get. And then you got King Arthur with his sword, which is a huge sword. It's too big for the figure, but I've grown into liking it. And there he has his own dragon shield here, which in the cartoon, the dragon comes out of the shield at will, at King Arthur's will. So we will take a look at Arthur here. Let's take him off. And he's got, his weapons are just so heavy. Okay, it fell off. So I squeeze his legs together and see if that method works with, yep. So it works with him. And the back of the shield, it has sort of like this push thing going on where you push that fist into this hole here, and then he just holds his shield that way. It's in very good shape for its age. Here's a closer look at the dragon of the shield. In the cartoon, the dragon's yellow. So here is King Arthur. A very shiny figure, very gold. I really like the colors. It's got the removable helmet feature once again. And there's his face. I mean, he's a good guy, but he sort of has a mean look on his face. But I think it's more of like a, ready to battle kind of look. And when his helmet goes down, that's how he looks. It's kind of dark. You kind of see his eyes there. I think it's just a cool idea. And it's got like the chainmail pattern, and it's got his own sword design. And the sword in the cartoon, that's how he's supposed to get his sword, Excalibur, is that it just comes out of his armor. And here's Excalibur. Again, it's a huge sword. I think too big for this figure, but it I've grown to love it. It's a good design. And now the back, he's got this button feature here, which I think it's swings his arms and stuff. Let's see. Yeah, so push down on it. He's ready to fight. He's ready to battle. I really like the cape. It's like a really thick fabric. See if we can get some good. See the texture and just like the glitter, the glistening and glitter of the cape. After all these years, it's in very good shape. And let's lift up the cape. Very intricately designed in the back. It's a great design for an action figure. So that's that King Arthur. So here's Valor. Removable helmet. So you can take it right off. Let's see. I don't want to break it though. I think you're supposed to just snap it right off like that. So here he is. And here is the helmet, which I think it's a very nice touch. It's very metallic looking. It's got these bolts, the pattern of the bolts and stuff, very sleek. And you just clip on the helmet again, like so. There you go. Very easy. And then put it on all the way, and it just looks like it's connected to the gold armor on the back of his neck. And he's got the dragon of the shield right there on his chest. Here is his missile launcher. So I will shoot this missile. It's probably going to go way over there, but I'll shoot it for you guys. So here we go. Ready? Let's see. I think it's this one right here. Yeah. Wait, I'm squeezing it. I think I'm actually supposed to. I'm going to push it up. See if that works. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, it still works fine, as you can see. Then we got a spare lance right here, which I don't think the figure originally came with 2 lances. I think it was just an extra one that I found. And then the dragon of the shield. It's got very interesting indentions here for the figures to make sure that the figures, they fit very cozy and snug in here. Some good pattern detail on the back of the horse. Again, put Arthur on it like so, and he fits on rather perfectly. So here is the POV from the back. And this is a really great designed creature or sidekick. I wish they really would have made more of these figures, because there were so many other knights and so many other warlords. And then there's Morgana, and then there's Merlin, and then there's Guinevere. There's just so many. The story goes through so many interesting turns. And there was a female who started as a maiden, and then she ended up being a knight. That was a great storyline. And we'll never see the figure, so kind of depressing. So this is my extra Valor, the warhorse, that I got in a lot. And he's very bare bones. He doesn't have any of the weapons because those were just a pain in the butt to find. So this is a bare Valor. So he's sort of just like a different, I just acknowledge him as a sort of a different type of warhorse. And he's a slightly duller color than the other one. And I think it's just a sort of an aged issue. This one is kind of yellow. And that's not from the factory. I think it comes from just age. And the other one is a little brighter just because the other one was probably taken care of and stored at a better place. So this guy we got on top of this other warhorse is Lancelot. And he's I think one of the best figures of this line as far as the good guys go. So let's see if we can stand him up. So we squeeze his legs. He looks like he wants to tip over. Kind of arch him back here like that. He stands up pretty good. He's got a great outfit on here. The helmet. The silver is very shiny. It's very glittery. And I got him complete when he was in his original package. And I'll talk about the pricing and how I got every piece of this collection. He's got his own missile launcher, which I will launch for you guys. So I don't remember how it goes. There. I think I'm pretty sure it's that button right there. So maybe I squeeze it. It's going to go way over there again. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There it goes. Even further than the lance on Valor. So he's got like a really cool tech sword thing going on here. And he's got a cool armor strap that you could take off and stuff. And his helmet does the reveal. So Lancelot, it's like half of his face is doing like a Darth Vader thing. And he does have a complete face. It just doesn't show all the way through. But again, good detail. There you are. So then you can, he looks a lot better like this though. Looks like more mysterious, more like a knight. And then if you had it in a certain light and you don't want his face showing at all, you can just obscure it like that. See how it just looks more ominous and mysterious because you're letting the dark just sort of obscure his face. Great figure, very shiny. It's got the same texture, chainmail, same spiky feet. Let's see, who else do we got in this collection? Let's see, we're almost done with the entire collection. This is a spare Warlord Slasher, and it's complete. Again, just getting different lots on eBay and stuff, I managed to get another one. Comparing him with the other Warlord Slasher, he is exactly the same. Exactly the same. He's not a variant at all. He's not a different color. He's just exactly the same. Got exactly the same weapons. So, here is the Boulder Basher. This is a bad guy vehicle. And the idea was reused from Masters of the Universe. And I believe it was, what was it? Bashosaurus. It was Bashosaurus. They reused the same idea. And they made the Boulder Basher. This one came complete in the box. I kind of had to. I don't think you will find this guy without being in the box. It's just a great figure to have. It's a great set to have. They're compatible with Motu. They're about the same size. They're 5.5, about the same height as the Motu figures, so very compatible with your other 5.5 figures. It's a great collection, so I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Kind of lengthy, I know, because I love this line. I feel like I should go back and rewatch the 2 seasons now. Although it's a little frustrating because the season 2 ends so abruptly. They don't finish anything off. You can tell that they weren't expecting to be canceled. But the story just doesn't continue through this other video on YouTube from Toy Galaxy did a great in-depth review of the history. And I found out that they're on the video game for like Super Nintendo or something, King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, that the story was ended. It was completed. So through that video game, there's like once you beat the video game, there is an end screen that shows King Arthur from the future freeing the ancient King Arthur and breaking all the knights out of the jail and defeating Warlord Slasher, and just sort of like they're sort of like doing this thing where they're like shaking hands and congratulating each other and stuff, and thanking the future King Arthur for the help and stuff like that. So the story does end on the video game. If you guys are interested, you can see that on YouTube if you just look up King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, a video game. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Join me next time. Thanks a lot. I'll see ya.